Broncos are on the road in the nation's capital to take on another NFC East opponent. The team trying to finish the last couple of games of the season with some wins. Romi's here to talk about it. And, you know, we always talk quarterbacks all season long. We're back at it.
You know what? We're going to keep talking about quarterbacks because that has been the trend all season. Once again, we're wondering who's the starting quarterback. This time it comes down to Brock Osweiler or Paxton Lynch. And really the decision here is Paxton Lynch healthy enough? If he's healthy enough to go, sounds like he's going to get the nod. They want to see what they have in Paxton in the sense of planning for the future. Of course, there is the desire to win now. And if you want to win now, well, then you play Brock Osweiler. He's a safe option, had a great game last week. But getting the sense that Paxton Lynch is really where they'd like to go for the next two games.
It makes a little bit of sense. You draft higher if you don't win, right? And you also find out that Paxton isn't working out if you don't win.
Right. And, you know, the draft thing is almost a secondary consideration. It's more to see, all right, can Paxton Lynch, can we continue to develop him? Can the Broncos see him as a backup next season? Or do they need to go out, maybe sign Brock Osweiler as a backup, and find a starting quarterback in free agency in the draft? So this is kind of that final step in the process in figuring out exactly what they're going to do in the offseason.
And they're going to watch carefully this fellow throwing the ball for Washington, too.
Very true. This Kirk Cousins, been quite the name we've talked a lot about in Denver. Makes this game really interesting, even though it has no playoff implications. A lot of Broncos fans are going to be watching. People are curious about Kirk Cousins. He's going to be a free agent. He's ranked third in yards per attempt, just behind Tom Brady and Matt Ryan, both of those guys in the Super Bowl last year. He's a guy that definitely the Broncos will probably go after. He will be expensive. Obviously, we'll talk about that in the offseason, but people are going to be watching because he's a guy. There's all the images coming out with him in you know, photoshopped in Broncos gear already. So that makes it interesting.
Do you think the Broncos can pay big? Are they willing to do that? I mean, they didn't pay Brock Osweiler, which thankfully worked out well.
Right.
But would they be willing to put down a big salary?
You know, I think they have to. I think the Broncos are at the point now where they've realized this quarterback carousel does not work. It's not ideal. 2 seasons in a row, it's resulted in not getting in the playoffs. This season, it'll result in a losing season. And so there are sometimes you got to pay big. And they've paid big for Von Miller. Essentially, he's the quarterback of this team. You got to do that on the offensive side now because what we've realized, this offense still has no identity. You got to get a big man in front, and that may mean paying the big bucks. So that also means some other guys may not be here next year, so they can get some salary so they can pay a big quarterback.
Ooh, a lot of moving parts right there.
A lot of moving parts.
All right, Romy, thanks a lot. Redskins games on our air on Sunday morning. And don't forget, you can get more sports from us right here on CBSDenver.com.